Welcome to the Pride Down Under podcast, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you from Australia. Today, it's myself and Tess, and it's good to see you back, Tess. Yeah, you were missing for a couple of days, a couple of episodes there, but you're back. You're back with a vengeance, mate, and back refreshed after your week's camping holiday on the Gold Coast.
Oh, it was. We were down by Byron Bay, just camping for a week, and we had some friends that came from Melbourne and stuff, so we wanted to catch up with them. But yeah, really, really, really good. So yeah, I missed the episode with you and Marley. Was it Marley?
Yeah.
From the Football Social.
Yeah,
daily
Marley
podcast.
was a great guest. Yeah.
No, I listened to it. Really, really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. Newcastle supporter, and I like Newcastle fans. You know, I've got nothing against Newcastle fans. I actually like them. They're really good supporters.
Yeah, they're chasing the same dream as ourselves, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, and they just luckily just happened to be on the same points as us and get Champions League football, and we had referees robbing us of goals and whatnot. So yeah.
Tess, you had a bit of an adventure yesterday. There was a bit of a reunion. So just to give a bit of context to it. So in 2022, Villa came over to do a tour of Australia. They played the games in Townsville, Brisbane, and Perth. The Brisbane game was against Leeds at Suncorp Stadium. Myself and a friend of mine flew over. That's where I first met you. That was in July 2022. That's where we first met Rhino and Paul. And I was like, I flew over on the Friday, and on the Friday night in King George Square, there was a big party. It was just a great night. The game was on the Saturday. And 3 years later, they had a reunion from all the Villa fans around Australia, the ones that could make it yesterday. And you know, trip up there. So as you live in Queensland, Brisbane, Queensland, do you want to tell us a little bit about the day and how it went about?
Yeah, well, it's a really mad one because I was like sitting at home and I was like, do I go and like see these other Villa fans, since like I haven't seen a lot of the people and I don't really know a lot of the people, but I was like, it's a really good opportunity for me to go and make some friends and go and hang out with fellow Villa supporters. And so like after umming and ahhing, and I think there was a fellow called I think it was Daryl, who I found on Facebook, said he was flying over or something like that.
I think he's from the Perth lines over here, I think.
Yeah. So I was messaging in the box and I was like, all right, I'll get ready and go. So I thought I'll take my camera with me, and I'll go and like I'll just go out, hang out, and like have a few beers and whatnot. And so I jumped on the train, got there, and as I was videoing myself, like saying I'm just arriving and everything like that, all of a sudden like I heard, and it was just like mental, absolutely mental, and I was just like lost it. I was like, yeah, just like it was just an amazing feeling that no one knows who you are, but they see that you got your Villa shirt on, and the welcome was amazing. So I got there and went in and introduced myself to everybody and shook hands with tons of people, give a few hugs and stuff, and was greeted there by I think the organizer,
Stacey Jane,
Stacey Jane, and she was like really, really welcoming and stuff, and gave me this little armband, and you can get a bit of a discount on your drinks and everything like that. And I just ended up talking to like Villa supporters right there at the Pig and Whistle pub in Brisbane City, at King George Square, I believe it's called. I don't really go into the city that much, but it was just an awesome vibe, an awesome feeling. Met so many different people, discovered that there's an Aston Villa football club in Bundaberg. Didn't know that. Yeah.
It's named after the club, like
yeah. So I spoke to a fellow, his name was Glenn. I'm pretty sure, I'm so sorry if they're watching or they listen and I've butchered it, but I think his name was Glenn, and he was telling me there's an Aston Villa football club in Bundaberg. And I think what happened is that it started because the person that was up there was originally an Aston Villa fan or something and started the club and everything like that. So that was like really interesting to know. And like, if I get hold of him again, I'll bring him on to the pod, shall I? And we'll talk about the Aston Villa club in Bundaberg. That would be like really awesome. So that was really, really good. Ended up speaking to a bunch of people there. I met some people from Wodonga, a lot of Gold Coast Villa supporters were there. Lots of Sydney supporters were there as well. A few Queenslanders were there as well. So look, it was a really, really great event. I was there for the best part of the day, but I had to leave, and I was planning to go back to the other pub where they were going to go and watch the game, and just unfortunately, I just couldn't make it. But it was what a delightful day! Like, just to go and hang out with Villa fans,
Brilliant.
all based here in Australia and stuff, and a really good bunch of people. So that was, I mean, yeah, made my day yesterday. And I had a few pints, and I had to sort of rush back on the train and like grab a McDonald's on the way back because I'd had a few. So it was a really good spot, and I think you would have really, really enjoyed it. And hopefully we can do that again. And I did say to Stacey Jane, you know, she does some really important work. Other than obviously these get-togethers and setting that all up, she does some really important work to do with domestic violence. So it'd be nice to talk to her one day as well, because I'm sure that might affect some supporters in one way or another. And so, you know, it'd be really good to talk to someone like that as well. So yeah, really good to get involved with Australian supporters, and hopefully we can do a lot more.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I have heard of Stacey's work. I think she's a CEO of a company called Escape Bags, and that's her business. So yeah, 100%. It'd be great to have her on for a chat about the Villa and her business and stuff and how it all came about. So that's definitely a guest to look to in the future. Yeah, I mean, I went over that time in 2022, and the atmosphere was just amazing. I can imagine yesterday would have been something very, very similar. And I was like, when Stacey started arranging this a couple of months ago, I was like, oh, I'd love to go, but unfortunately, after flying back for the Villa and Spurs in May there, and then I was in Thailand obviously in June, and in the Bali in a few weeks, I don't think the missus would be too impressed. So I was telling her I was heading off for a reunion over in Brisbane again. So, I better keep those trips for games, for trips back to Europe. So no, but if there is one again in the future, I'd absolutely love it. And even like hopefully down the line, Villa come over and maybe like, you know, do a Southeast Asian tour or something, and they play in Singapore or something. It'd be great if the Australian Lions can fly over there for a meetup, you know. Also last night, obviously, you know, as you know, I'm the vice chairman of the Perth Lions here, and they had a big event last night. Unfortunately, the one night that Tilly was away overnight with her sisters, so I had the two kids, so I couldn't make it for the early kickoff, and I was absolutely raging. But yeah, so Katrin, our chairwoman, she arranged it, and they had a brilliant night. They ended up getting the whole back room of our home bar over here. It's called the Shoe Bar there in the city, and they're very accommodating to us. And yeah, Katrin reckons they ended up nearly 100 people in the end, which is a tremendous turnout. And so we're looking again. Hopefully, we'll have a meeting next month. We're aiming for the Villa Everton game, which will be 10 o'clock on the Saturday on the 13th of September. So that would be brilliant. Just before the clocks change in the UK again in October, it'd be good to get one or two more games in. But it's important to get to these meetups, and you know, you're on the other side of the world, but there is a big Villa community here, and it's great to have access to them. And we always say we'd love to get a few of them on the pod here, Tess, with me. I know Katrin, who is been to, like, when we had Peter Witt on a couple of weeks ago, all those games that Peter talked about, Tess, Katrin has been at all those games as a supporter after growing up in Birmingham. She attended all those games. So Katrin said she'd definitely be willing to come on and have a chat with us over time. Katrin's a great person. I stay in contact with her a lot. So we've got Peter's version of the players' version of the days. And now it'll be good to get the fans' version, because they'll be very different. One will be lining up training for the game. The other will be drinking for the game.
There's something wholesome about it. You know, you don't know anybody, and you just, you know, you can have these sort of nerves about just going and will anyone talk to you. But there's one thing about Villa fans is that, you know, you're wearing the shirt and you're one of them, you know, and it was just really, really, it was fantastic to just turn up and be welcomed and hug a few people, shake a few hands. Really, really good. Somebody mentioned to me about Peter With. He's like, oh, Peter With turned up, you know, a couple of years ago for the Leeds game. I was like, just talk to him the other day. Honestly, top bloke. Talk to him the other day on the podcast. You should have listened. Unashamed plug.
And that's actually the meetup he was talking about, Tess, when he said he stood there for 3 hours in a bar and people were coming up signing autographs. That's where he was. He was at the Pig and Whistle in King George Square, because we were there on the Friday night. Yeah. So
he went there as well, because I know he went to the shopping centre too and did some autographs.
Yeah, he went to the pub after. Yeah. He was like, he was there as the club had flew him over as an ambassador from WA over for the Leeds and Villa game. So really good.
I'll tell you what though, for those who are listening, if you haven't seen the episode where we had an interview with Peter With, please go and check it out. I mean, it was a fantastic chat. He's a fantastic bloke, and it was really, really good to hear his stories as well. So please go and check that one out.
Yeah, it's just two episodes back, lads. It is genuinely a great listen, because Peter, he nothing was off the record. It was a test. He was happy to talk about anything, any questions we had for him. He gladly opened up and told us all about it, and gave it a real perspective on what it was like. You know, Peter Witt is a genuine legend of the club, like, so to actually hear it from the horse's mouth, and he's living it. He's Villa's legend to score the European goal, to win the European Cup. So to actually hear his thoughts, and it was amazing. And for a guy who grew up as an Everton fan, like, he's got Aston Villa true and true now, hasn't he, in his heart? Like, he's just, when he speaks so passionately about the club and so warmly about his time with us, you know.
And he was really honest, wasn't he, in that podcast and in that interview? Yeah. He was just really honest about his feelings about the club, about the way he signed and what he wanted to achieve. So I won't give away too much, but please go and have a listen to that one. Just want to say hello to Smithy. He's liking the live podcasts. And yes, Smithy, when you were over in Australia, this is the same pub that we came and met you there as well. So that was a fantastic event to come and meet you there and have a few drinks with you. And look at this, we're still friends today. So yeah, awesome, Smitty.
And Tess, just on that as well, when I went back for the Spurs and Villa and Spurs game in May there, I actually had the pleasure of catching up with Smithy and his son and his son's friend, with the two of my friends in the Witten Arms there. And Smithy came and had a few pints with us, and we strolled over to the Premier League under-18 game together. And it was really, really nice to meet Smithy, and he's always been a big supporter of the podcast. And we'll definitely have Smithy on for a chat at some point during this season as well, because top guy. But thanks for the support, Smithy. It does not go unnoticed.
Good top bloke. So absolute top bloke. So
Tess, let's not avoid it anymore.
Okay, because I was like, can we just talk about being supporters and stuff for a long time? Because I don't want to talk about frustration. I just want to talk about
So there was a meetup, but the meetup was set up around a certain game, and the certain game was Villa and Newcastle, which, as when I had Marley on Thursday, I said when the fixtures came out, there was two big ties that really stuck out, and that was Arsenal and United in the first round of fixtures, and Villa and Newcastle. Villa and Newcastle obviously pipped each other for Champions League for the last couple of years. They alternated positions. We finished on the same points, only goal difference going through, a couple of late goals in both games, sealing it. Lot to be on this game to meet first day of the season. We met opening day of the season 2 years ago. They put 5 past us. It was the game Tyrone Mings got injured, but we still went down and got Champions League. So there was a lot around this game. Two clubs that are kind of fighting for a very small piece of the pie at the moment. But there's not much room for many clubs in the top 6 at the moment. And Villa and Newcastle are probably the best set to break that up. But it was a big fixture. And it was a fixture that was surrounded with Alexander Isak, obviously dominated the last few months. And I was never in the belief that we were going to walk in and just hammer them, because I think Newcastle are far better than a one-man team suggests. But I expected this to be a hectic, cracking game. It started like that, but it quickly kind of lost its groove fairly fast. So first of all, we'll start with the lineup test, and we won't hang around too much about this game, but let's start with the lineup. What was your opinion when the lineup first came out?
I didn't hate the lineup. And if I'm being really honest, I was disappointed not to see Donyell Marlin start the game. I've been dying to see him play more minutes and be in the team. And I thought that if he was started, he would have been really effective on that right side if he played with Watkins up top, and maybe Rodgers.
Who would you have dropped, Rodgers or McGinn?
I would have dropped Super John McGinn, to be honest with you. Because I didn't, to be honest, I didn't think that Rodgers was going to play. I thought he was injured. Like, I thought, he hadn't really seen him, and thought, maybe he doesn't make this game. But if he did, then I would have, definitely, I would have left John McGinn out, to be honest with you. And I hate saying it, but I just feel like against a team like Newcastle, we need to be fast and strong on the attack, and we could really hurt them with. For sure. So and otherwise, I was happy with the lineup. I thought it was a strong lineup, and I always like to see. I think I've said it so many times. I like to see Tielemans play quite further deeper, because I just feel like he can dictate the play for us more than what I have been seeing with Kamara and with Onana. But again, I know Tielemans can do the job where he was, and so I can't hate that. It would have also been nice to see Ian Maatsen play, and I'm saying that really because I put him in my fantasy team. So other than that, I couldn't really argue with the team. I thought it was a good lineup. I thought pre-season Ollie Watkins looked really sharp. I thought that Donya Martin was looking sharp pre-season as well, and I thought that definitely earned him the right to get a start there. So
yeah, I think when the lineup came up, I was happy enough with it, to be honest, because it wasn't that long ago that we went with a similar tactic against Newcastle at home in April, and we blew them away. And tactically, it worked really well with Tielemans dropping in to pick up Tonali and let Onana and Kamara break up the play. So I had no issues with the starting lineup, to be honest. Thought maybe Maatsen could have started ahead of Digne, although I did understand why Digne started a game like that. Just first game in a season, experience. I thought Maatsen should have came on after, but we'll get on to that. But I will say that I do think, first of all, the difference between now and April was clearly his ball retention wasn't good enough. So I don't think it was down to the structure of the team. I just think the ball retention wasn't enough. But I will say, when Tielemans plays, and I'm not just saying this after, because this is no slight in time over Mings, because I actually think he was one of the better players on the pitch. He's probably one of them that can walk around with his head held high, except for when he tackled Digne, but that was more of a comedy moment than anything. But if you're going to play Yuri Tielemans in the 10, Pau Torres has to start, because we have no one to feed the ball forward into Kamara otherwise, or into Tielemans or Kamara. So I think if you're going to play Tielemans in the 10, then Pau Torres has to start, even though I do think Tyrone Mings was the right choice for this game. But I just think who's going to pick up the ball and feed Kamara in the tight spaces, or feed Rodgers and Watkins, if neither Tielemans or Pau Torres are deep lying. So that was my only issue with the structure.
I thought the beginning would have been his job while he was playing, right? But I feel like during the first half, it's just some of the passing. I can see what McGinn was trying to do during the game. You know, he was trying to hold the ball up, get his backside against their defenders, and try and put the ball into the middle of the park, but it just didn't seem to work. And the passing just wasn't there, was it? Really, during that first half. And it was, as I say, it was just a bit of a frustration to watch that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think McGinn, in fairness to him, he did try to set the pace. He started off really harrying and hassling Livramento, and won the ball back a couple of times early. I think he was unfairly penalised for a couple of tackles, if I'm honest. I thought, and we'll get onto the red card later, this is nothing on the red card. The red card was 100% right, but I think Craig Pawson kind of ruined the game as a spectacle both ways. He blew every 50-50. He wouldn't let the game flow at all, and there was enough intensity in the game to allow things to flow. And I think he almost refed the intensity out of the game, if I'm honest, because there was a good intensity for that first 15-20 minutes on both sides. Newcastle were probably the better team in the first 15-20 minutes. But I do genuinely think that he was at fault for a lot of that there. The referee, I think he broke up a lot. He was everything. They couldn't go near each other, and I think it took the sting out of the game. And once the sting came out of that game in the first half, I think it suited Newcastle better with their 5 across the middle, and they obviously had a lot more pace on the pitch than us. Tess, I'm going to let you talk for 1 second. I just realised I never plugged in the battery charger, so do your best, mate. Talk 2 seconds. Sorry, guys.
Battery's not charged. Yeah, so I just really, really enjoyed watching Bizot as well. I need Spud here to talk about Bizot, because Bizot made his debut, didn't he? He made his debut in goal, and we don't have Olsen anymore, and Martinez is suspended. And so Bizot came in and did a really, really good job early on, a couple of good saves, looked really assured in the goal there as well. So that was a real positive for the first half, just to see somebody who's a goalkeeper and just taking, I guess, not the game by the scruff of the neck, but just being able to dominate and control his defenders and stuff. So that was really, really interesting. Spud, I was just talking about in the first half, Bizot really impressed me in the first half. Just seemed really commanding, didn't he? He just made a couple of good saves and just seemed to not be scared to come out, grab the ball, tell the defenders where he wanted them to be. At times, I think some of the long kicks went a little bit astray, but most of the time it was really good. So I was really, really impressed with Bizot in that very first half. I thought he did a really, really good job. And that was nice to see because, we haven't had a reserve goalkeeper that comes in and has done a good job for a long time, have we? And so that was just, really pleasing to see.
Yeah, not an easy game to walk into either. Obviously, there was a lot around the summer with Martinez. Is he going? Is he staying? It's a big game at Villa Park, opening day of the season. I thought he done very well. Well now, and I can't. As debuts go for a goalkeeper at Aston Villa, that's as good as you want to get. And that was, for me, particularly in that first half, that was the massive positive there because he made a great save from Elanga early on when Mings tackled Digne. And Elanga went on a run. But his performance overall was really, really good, and I can't fault him. And that'll do for me. He's an experienced Champions League goalkeeper, and if he's going to come in and threaten to try and take places or give assurances like that when he's when he's on form, then that's all you can ask for, because that's what you want in a team. That's how you progress as a team, because there was never ever a question of Emi Martinez ever having a backup that's going to even slightly challenge him. They couldn't even rest Martinez because you couldn't trust Olsen to go in unless he was injured and just give him a rest. Have a keeper now that maybe might be able to play a good few of the group stages in the Europa League or play a lot of cup games, but still not weaken the team and actually show us that we want to win this competition still. It's a benefit for Martinez, it's a benefit for Bizot, it's a benefit for us. And I was very, very happy with it. And I think, look, it's only one game, but first impressions last.
I think Brent from Sydney is watching. Welcome, Brent. Nice to see you here. I swear I must have butchered. Did I say Bizot? I think it might be Bizot. Marco Bizot. It might be.
What is Bizot? Yeah, he's just. I think he's giving the old Aussie abbreviation of Bizot, mate. Oh, brilliant! Yeah. Thanks for jumping in the chat, Brent. Good little comment. Evening, gents. Watching from Sydney. What a vomit of a game to watch. Only positive is Bizot. Look, it wasn't the most exciting game. There's no getting around that. But look, I've watched worse games under Steven Gerrard.
I didn't think we're going to dig him out in this podcast today, but happy to by all means. So where do we go next from it?
Oh, the other thing I want to touch off this is Anthony Gordon's header. I mean, he should be finishing that. They were probably the two biggest chances that Newcastle had, even though they created maybe 6 or 7 decent chances. They were the only two that they looked like any chance of finishing. I wasn't that concerned going in at halftime, considering how poor we'd been. We spoke about it ourselves at halftime, but what was your thoughts going in at halftime?
Halftime, I was just frustrated. And also, by the way, my stream on Stan just kept freezing for some reason. Like, it just kept giving me that circle of death, and I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? I ran around the house and I switched off everything that was connected to the internet, switched it off because I just wanted to watch the game. But
I think that was a Stan issue, though, Tess, not a Tess issue. Mine never actually stopped solid freezing, but it kept flicking between good stream. No, it never stopped, but the picture would go off a bit, so Stan would want to start that. We'll allow him the first week when they've newly bought the rights, but they'll want to nip that in the bud fairly lively. Yeah,
because Optus did a good job. Just letting Stan know. Optus did a good job, and there was none of that stuff. So please fix that. But it was a legal stream, just letting you know. In Australia, we've got Stan. And I watched it on there. So I went into the first half. Just frustrated, to be honest, and I was a bit concerned about the way that we were playing, and I thought that we needed change. I thought we needed to change McGinn at halftime. I know you even messaged us on WhatsApp, I think, and you said you're not really concerned about it, but my concern was I just didn't think that McGinn was playing well enough, and I think we need something a little bit different. Other than that, we had the second half. Emery would have gone in at halftime and spoke to the players and adjusted the tactics a little bit, and we always know that, and hopefully we'll get a shot on target, because we didn't have a shot on target. 0 shots, 0 on target in the first half, that was what was frustrating. And I thought he's going to go in and he's going to say, you guys haven't even tested their goalkeeper yet. You know, you need to start stringing these passes together. And I thought he was going to bring Marlon on and get more attacking on the wide side. That didn't happen. So yeah, that was my feeling. And I hate feeling frustrated at halftime because it's, you know, only 45 minutes, but you really wanted to see something different from the players. It's almost as if they didn't really come out. I felt like they were being patient, but too patient and showing too much respect to Newcastle.
Yeah, I kind of felt when I was talking to yourself and Ryan on our private chat there, I was like, I wasn't overly concerned because I just thought Newcastle, they couldn't change much. Whereas because they're away from home, like Stan was doing this beautiful aerial shot of Newcastle's tactical structure and setup, and you could perfectly see the 4-5-1 of lines, and it was a lovely setup. It was stopping all the passing lanes for us, and it was compact. It was narrowing us because we had no width, and it was perfect. But I was looking at the bench, and we had Matson, Gassond, and Dina, and I simply thought, looking at their structure, there's a way to bypass this with width. And so I wasn't concerned at all. And I didn't think Newcastle were offering enough of a goal threat to worry me too much with the amount of chances they were creating. Our ball retention was poor, but I felt we weren't trying to force it either. I just thought it might have been a little bit of part of the game plan. Just get the halftime, bring on a bit of width, and then open up the game, you know, because I didn't think Eddie Howe had anywhere to go. He couldn't change much tactically. He didn't really have much on the benches in. It had to be like for like. He could either take off Elanga and bring on Jacob Murphy. That structure couldn't change. He couldn't break up that middle tree, that Tonali, that very good middle tree, by the way, Tonali, Joe Linton, and Bruno Guimaraes. They keep nice and tight. They're compact. They were stopping the passing lanes, but he couldn't go away from that because as soon as he would, it was going to leave space for Watkins and Rodgers to come deep, pick up the ball and do what they do. So I wasn't concerned. I thought if Emery can find a little tweak to our system, Eddie Howe doesn't really have much to react to that. He's got the best structure he can have in this game at the moment. So I genuinely wasn't too concerned. To be fair, we came out in the second half and we had a goal. For the first 10 or 15 minutes, looked good. Onana was starting to get in the ball, find passes. Tielemans was kind of starting to get deeper. And I just felt it was getting to that point where they were going to bring Tielemans back in, take Onana off. Digne was going to come off, and we were going to see Malin and Matson come on to give us that width and really go at them. That's where I felt it was. But like Villa do, like only Aston Villa can do to themselves, we take the biggest gun in the store and shoot ourselves in the foot as rapidly as we can. Because at that point then, we gave away from our own attacking cross. We managed to have a man sent off in our own box, or out just outside our own box. So it was a poor ball by Matty Cash. I can't blame him fully for it. The ball was bad, but there was enough opportunity to stop it before then because I think Kanza's positioning was way off for the speed of Anthony Gordon. I think he left himself way too much to do. He's pushed way too high.
That was something that happened last season, though. A lot of teams did that counter-attack against us last season where we pushed up far too high and we're not in the right positions if we lost the ball from attacking spaces. And I believe we lost a couple of goals like that last season, like where we were just nowhere in no man's land. You know, Tyrone Mings couldn't get back. Ezri Konsa's the only person that could have even got close to him, to Anthony Gordon anyway. And obviously what happened. But he prevented a goal. Then we just had to sit back. But I saw people saying that it was Ezri Konsa's fault for getting the red card, and you're right, because he made the challenge and it was a red card for sure. But we still have to pick out that there was a bad bit of play that happened before that to put him in that position in the first place, you know?
This is the problem we're going to have, Tess, and until we rectify it somehow, it's going to happen every few games because coaches have figured us out a little bit in that regard. We're playing a very high line with not that much pace in the background. Konsa's quick, but he's not Mickey van de Ven quick. He's quick, you know. Tyrone Mings is brilliant at defending against physical guys. He's brilliant. You know how much I rate Tyrone Mings. He's quick, but he's not Mickey van de Ven pace. And you have Pau Torres, who excellent, high football IQ and brilliant on the ball, but again, not physical enough to go with his pace. So playing a high line, teams are just compacting us high in their own half, knowing that if they get a turnover, they're leaving a quick striker up top, and there's so much space in behind. and it's hurting us a lot. And I don't really know what the answer is, you know.
I thought about the I was just thinking about the booking there. I felt like it was a good booking, like a good sending off in a way.
It is now looking back.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was sitting there like he there was no way he was going to get next to him to make the challenge, and you know, sometimes you can sort of shoulder to shoulder and all that sort of thing, but just the deliberate hands on, I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? But
it's instinctive, isn't it? Like it is, like it's instinctive from Kansas.
But it was better. I don't even know if this is, and I shouldn't even be saying it, but it was better that the foul happened where it happened, because it didn't give them like a direct free kick to shoot on goal from that spot. Like it was quite far out for them to score from there, I thought. And yeah, I mean, he's going to miss the next game, isn't he? And that was disappointing.
One game though, you'll take it. One day, you know, because it's a deniable goal scoring opportunity chance. It's only a 1 game suspension because there wasn't serious foul play. So so it's not serious foul play. Mark Smith has made a good point in here, and he says, I think we've used that back four on and off for about 3 or 4 years now. Does it need freshening up? What's your thoughts?
I like the back four at the moment, and it's going to be really difficult to kind of replace the players that we have because they know the structure. Arguably, yes, we will need to modernise the back four, but we've got a bunch of experience there, and I think Emery likes to play with players that are experienced rather than sort of bringing in the youngsters, and I think we've noticed that he hasn't really played Garcia, has he? And Matsson's been fighting for game time and slowly being brought into the side bit by bit. Yes, this season, no. Next season, I'd imagine that there will be changes. I don't know. I think Tyrone Mings and Luca Dean will next season. They'll try to improve those positions,
even after signing their contracts.
Yeah. I think part of that is I think at the moment, and I'm going off tangent here, but I think at the moment we've had a bunch of players who we're having issues offloading and getting money for. And I think what they try to do is give players contracts so that if other teams want to come and get them later on, that they're going to get some sort of money for them, or they're just not going to sit on the bench and be getting paid because they're not even going to be playing and all these sorts of things. Yeah. That's my feeling. Give them a new contract, because it was tough to try and recruit players, especially with the financial issues, which I don't really want to get into today. And we will talk about financial issues at one point during this season, because it does affect us. But I just think that he was rewarding players for their performances last season. He wants to make sure that they're happy to stay at the club this season rather than move on, because we'll have trouble trying to replace them. And I think come next season, there'll be players that we can get some sort of money for if they decide to move on, or if he decides that he wants to freshen up the back four. So, yeah, interesting question. But I like that they've all been playing together for this amount of time, you know, to be honest with you. I like that they all know each other very well, the way that they play. They know how they're supposed to play. But yeah, in the end, it will need freshening up. But I still think they're really top professionals.
I do think we're going to see a bit of a freshen up, not the personnel, but actually to the structure this year. But I just think that he probably, being Newcastle, tough game, I think he just went with the tried and trusted for this game. I don't think it was the game to try something new, but I 100% expect to see more of Maatsen this season, which that alone is going to mix things up. I think we're going to see more of Lamar Bogart than we have too. Obviously, Kansas probably made that decision for him now, but I think anyway, I don't think it'll be Kansas that's going to be going out to the right in the games that Cash is injured, you know, or needs a rest. I think Lamar Bogart could be the one to step in there and do that. And when you have someone like Maatsen, you can have a sitter like Bogart out at the right back, you know. So I think there will be changes to the structure, not to the personnel, but I just don't think this was the game for it. Like to be trying new things. I think he went with the tried and trusted for this game. And eventually it will have to be freshened up, because like some of them are there a long time, but they're good enough to get clean sheets, all of them. Like they've seen Cons and Mings last year when Mings came back into the team, like they can keep clean sheets. We couldn't get a clean sheet for Love Nor Money before that. So there will be changes, but I don't think it's going to be wholesale changes over the next couple of years. To be honest, I think we'll just see changes in structure as opposed to personnel.
Yeah.
The other thing
though.
It's very interesting, yeah, and it'll probably have to. It'll have to happen at some point, but I think we're going to be a lot tighter than we were the first half of last season, because there was a period last season where we had to score 3 goals to win a game or 2 goals because we were conceding every game.
Yeah,
and then we got to maybe March and we battened down the hatches and we were starting to get clean sheets. And our team have a goal in us, so clean sheets are vital to us, because I know we didn't score yesterday, but 0-0 draws under Unai Emery are not very common. We have goals in us.
And I guess one of the positives we should take from this game is that we had 10 men and we didn't lose to Newcastle, and that's really good. And also, I don't think we've been beaten at Villa Park for about a year now, right? Like it was.
The first home game of last season in the league, that was at Arsenal, and it was probably one of our best home performances of the season. The game we lost 2-0. We were very good that day against Arsenal. We just didn't get the result, and we haven't been beaten at home since. So I think I was on with Neil done his post match with him last night, Tess, right? I was speaking to Neil about this. I was saying people might want to hear this at the time because it's still raw after the game. We hadn't played well. I don't care what time of year it is, when it is. A point against Newcastle is never a bad result. It's never a bad result, because over the years, it can be a bad performance, but that doesn't make it a bad result. And obviously after the red card, they made it a very good point in the end. We're probably lucky to get a point, we'll take a point. But we've said over the years many times, like Villa a few years ago lose games like that, but we're starting to become a team that if you can't win the game, don't lose it. Take your point, shake hands, move on to the next game. Keep that unbeaten going. And if you go away and you beat Brentford next week, 4 points from Newcastle and Brentford to start the season, that's a good start. It's a great start to the season. It's not a brilliant start to the season. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse. So
the top team, we're competing against that team to get European football this season, and taking a point at home, happy days. I'm happy with that. Especially after what we saw, I was happy with the result as well. And getting a draw against Newcastle is no shame in that, to be honest with you.
They had so much negative press, Newcastle, over the summer, that the media had people believing that we're coming up against Norwich. They're going to just capitulate yesterday. The bookies were all heavily in Villa's favour and stuff. Newcastle only down one man, obviously he was very important, and he would have made a difference yesterday. There's no doubt about that. If they had a centre forward there, then we could be talking about a very different result here. But
I think your boy, your man there, Marley as well. When you did the podcast with Marley, I think he mentioned that because I think you may have asked him about who's going to play up top for you, and he called it, didn't he? He said, I think Anthony Gordon's going to probably play up front. Yeah, so he called that one. So good on him for that. That was a good shout.
And look, we'll look back at this game, and I think eventually it'll be forgotten, and it'll be just considered a good point. The undefeated, look, there's not too much you can be too disheartened with. It's if this was April, I think things would be different. But it's the first game of the season. We take our point, we move on. There's a lot to be worked on, but it's still the first week of the season. So we've had worse starts. We lost 5-1 to Newcastle 2 years ago and went on and finished in the top 4. We can't get too down about it. And then I see a lot of people online, and you know how much I try to not take my opinion from online because it's
stay away from
crazy
it. Just don't
go
near it.
But like everyone's saying, we need recruitments. We need recruitments. Yeah, we do. But also you have to remember, we didn't get a chance to bring some of our bench players on last night either because of the red card. So we don't know how much we need recruitments. But because of Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein and all these transfer specialists, people have this insatiable appetite for transfers now. We need transfers. What happened to the good old days of having coaches that improve players, Like Pep Guardiola has been smashed for years because people saying he's a checkbook manager, but now everyone just wants their manager to buy players. I'd rather see him coach Onana, Maatsen and Malin into the type of players that he wants in his structure than to just constantly. You can't just have this rotating team the whole time. We don't have the finances to do it. We're not a team that chop and change our manager every year. So we just have to sit back and let him, Unai Emery, coach it. He's here for the long run. So
and
of course,
coaching players though. He's
making them better.
He's making them better. for sure. Ollie Watkins wasn't playing for England before Emery came, was he?
No.
He's Morgan Rogers is on the got into the England team and all these sorts of things. So he's coaching the players, and I think we should just be patient. We don't have the ability in the market like Chelsea do or Manchester City do, or Man United are able to spend that type of money, and Spurs, Newcastle haven't been able to really spend fortunes on players this season as well, have they? So like we're in a unique position at the moment, but I think like Newcastle, Emery is coaching players to be better. I think Eddie Howe is doing the same at Newcastle and on whatever they can do in terms of financial restrictions. So be calm. Like I try to stay away from the social media part of the meltdowns and all that kind of stuff, because half the time, it's agents talking to Fabrizio Romano and all these people saying that this club's interested in this player and this player is interested in going to there and they don't want to go anywhere else. And some of them are true. But in our case, we haven't been in the market in that way, and I do hope that we are going to maybe bring a loan signing in, a clever loan signing in before the end of the transfer window. But it has to make sense.
Emery and Monchi have shown in the past, though, if there is a good deal there that's worth taking the risk on, they'll do it. They've brought things. We were going well in the Champions League last year. We looked like we were kind of dropping out of the European places in January last year. And they brought Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford in for loan, and we nearly got Champions League. Like, they spotted Morgan Rogers in the build-up to an FA Cup game, and they said, right, we'll have him, and look at him now. I know he wasn't at his best yesterday, but last year his numbers were phenomenal. He doesn't look fit, as Mark Smith said a while ago. I think Emery's trying to bring him back to fitness because, as I said to Neil last night, I feel Morgan Rogers shouldn't have played 90 minutes yesterday, but I would imagine the reason for it is because he had about 75-80% of his preseason done, got injured, and maybe Emery's just trying to get that extra 20% out of him now whilst he can early in the season,
And really trusts him too, doesn't he? Really trusts Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, and of course, like, they will make the signing if it makes sense, it can be done, and it isn't, and if it can improve the team, because 6-7 years ago we were giving out that we were making too many signings that made no sense, and then we're ending up with massive squads but not that much quality. Emery has said he's not going to buy someone unless they're going to improve the squad, because it's just a waste of money. So I have no doubt that Gassand, I haven't seen much of him, watched a little bit of him on Nice. I know that's going to work out because they've watched him since January and they haven't got a lot wrong in the transfer market.
Yeah. I think, I was just going to say that I just think maybe a nice little loan signing will be good before the end of the transfer window. That'll be really, really nice. I can just come in and help the team. Who would you choose?
I said to you and Rhino at the end of last season, who did I say I'd love to see us go for? Leandro Trossard. Because I thought he'll be available because Arsenal are going to upgrade those positions. And recently there's been a few little rumours that we're looking at Trossard. I think he'd be a phenomenal signing to go on that left side. He's durable.
Could we get him though? It wouldn't be a loan though, wouldn't it? It'd be a buy, wouldn't it? Arsenal wouldn't want to sell. Wouldn't want to loan him out to a.
They might if we take on the full wages because he's not going to play much. They're after bringing in Nani Madueke. They have Saka's back full time from injury. They've got Gyökeres. They've got, they've got options all over that place. I think he's gettable, and he'll want to be playing football, and the links to Eze as well. So I think he'll want to be playing football, and I think he'd be perfect for our left side. If we could get a year loan out of Trossard, I think he'd get us 14-15 goals from the left side in all competitions.
Would you take Asensio back?
I would take Asensio back because I think he'd be an absolute gem in the Europa League.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the Europa League, win the Europa League gets us Champions League.
I think he'll bring a bit of experience if we could get Asensio back, but he also knows the Premier League and how we play now. And hopefully that would bring him into. I thought he was fantastic as an impact player last season. I just felt like he faded off a bit, but that could be the tiredness of Premier
lack of games in the first half of the season too. No real pre-season, so to get him in the door now and get him up to speed, and keep him fit, he might have a phenomenal. Look, I don't think Asensio's ever going to be the player that dominates 90 minutes of a game, but he can be the difference in a game, and he can be the difference in many games, and that's what we have. We have plenty of lads who are going to work hard. We have plenty of guys. We need someone that's going to do it when we need it most. And I think Asensio can do that.
Yeah. All right. I think we wrap it up here.
Yeah. And we just, before we wrapped it up, because there's not too much to say about that game. Hopefully the season gets a bit more exciting as things roll in. But a couple of things we have to say. First of all, obviously, thanks very much to all the people who tune in live tonight, lads. I really appreciate it. We love getting the comments, and we love interacting with you all.
Thank you.
Keep joining. Keep joining when you can. The lives, we'll advertise it on the socials, and obviously hit that follow, hit that subscribe for us. It doesn't cost anything, lads, but it really does help us grow. We've got some great guests lined up over the next that have agreed to come on the pod. So we're going to have some fantastic guests over the next couple of months as well. So during the season, and that's just after catching my. I want to talk about this test because this is hilarious.
Sorry. I had to put that up because I was like, oh no, I can't let this one go. What's your thoughts on that one? Can you answer that one?
My thoughts on this is, if this is not the Premier League in a nutshell, then I don't know what is. So basically, for those who aren't familiar with this, right? So basically, in the Premier League, you have a multi-ball system. You have a stand. You've got a ball on top of that stand, and you have them dotted around the ground. The idea is to get the ball back and play quick to make the match day experience better for the fans. So obviously some clubs are using it as a tool to slow the game down, speed the game up, whatever the case may be. The ball get back to the opposition fast one. They might knock the ball away, whatever. So they reckon that Villa have abused it in too many games. So to stop Villa from abusing the multi-ball system and slowing the games down, they've somehow decided that the best way to do that is take the multi-ball system out of the game altogether for 3 games by punishing Villa, giving them 125,000 fine. So the best way to punish us is give us what we were trying to achieve in the start and not have any multi-ball system. I mean, I just don't get it.
I don't understand that. Also, don't understand. I don't want to go into it, but there are clubs out there with like 115 charges that are we're still waiting. We're still waiting.
Yeah,
we're still waiting. So I don't want to go into it because I'll be here for another hour talking about that. But that's absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
There's a parody account on Twitter called Sky Sports something, and it's parody in brackets. And I seen this first on that page. I genuinely thought it was wind up. I didn't realize it was real. And then I looked into it and I was like, this is actually true. Like this is a real charge. Like it's absolutely nuts.
Unbelievable. Premier League, sort yourself out, please.
Guys, over the next coming weeks, we'll give a bit more information about this, but we are going to be giving away 2 personally signed autobiographies from the man himself, Mr. Peter Witt, who has agreed to give us 2 autobiographies, and he's going to sign them himself personally. So keep your eyes on the socials for that, and that will be a phenomenal prize for someone to get. So we're going to have 2 of them to give away. So yeah, it won't be for a couple of weeks yet, but just keep your eye on the socials and make sure you're one of them guys to win the competition.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't even thought of what the competition will be yet. So that'll be interesting. So keeping that. Yeah. If anyone's got any ideas, more than happy for you to shoot us through an email or something like that, or send us through a message on social media and let us know what you think would be an awesome competition. But we'll have a brainstorm, I think, Spud. We'll have a big brainstorm and see what we can do to make sure that 2 lucky people will get that signed autobiography. Yeah,
100%. And I'm going to go up and meet him, get the books off him. He's going to personally sign them. So it's not just going to be one that he's multi-signed. He's going to personally sign it to the winner with your name on it, personally made for you. So keep your eye out for that, guys, because it will be a great prize to get. And we're very, very, very grateful to Peter Witt for offering to do that for us. So
yeah.
So hopefully the long running time, Peter will become a very good friend of the pod, because let's be honest, can you think of a better guy to have as friend of your podcast? Only the man who scored the most famous goal in our history.
Fascinated. Please go and check it. Please go and check out that episode of Peter with the interview. It's fantastic. Top bloke. And also, just before we go, Spud, just want to say once again, thanks very much to all of those villains that showed up in Brisbane for that big turnout. Stacey Jane, well done for organising. I loved meeting everybody that was there. They were all fantastic people, great Villa supporters and everything, come from all over the place. And hopefully we'll catch them here on the podcast in the future as well.
And we will be back Thursday, I would assume. Yeah, Thursday with a live pod for the preview and the build-up to the Brentford game Saturday. So guys, thanks everyone. Thanks to Mark, Brent, all of you that were in the commented tonight, all of you that were joined the live. It was excellent to get you in here. If you're in here and you're not commenting, we more than appreciate that as well. Thanks so much for joining the live pod, guys. And we hope that you'll come back again. And if you just give it a like for us, subscribe, and even give it a share for us, guys, that would be really, really good. Thanks very much, guys. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.